All right, people, I'm back. Today's the last episode of our college football series. Yeah. So I know y'all like, damn, what he got now prepared for us. Today's final episode is gonna be Howard Bison, which is the college football team of Howard University, versus Georgetown. It's going to be wide receiver versus wide receiver. I promised you in my last video it was going to be player versus player. And I tend to do that by finishing this out so I can get to the next new series that'll be fun and exciting for you. So let's get into it. All right. Now, Howard University is, I guess you could say, is a premier black college. They do accept all nationalities, but it's known as a black school. And a lot of people go to that school because they get the best education that money can buy. You know, what comes out of this school is lawyers, doctors, police officers, people go into the military, people who graduate from this school and they go into the job world. A lot of them become criminal defense attorneys, judges. A lot of them have their own business. A lot of them become professors when they're finished with this school. And then they're known for college sports, basketball, football, baseball, track and field, swimming, but particularly football. And you see, they nicknamed their sports division and then they decided to name a football team, the Howard Bison, and this team has won 5 championships. So in the past, 40 or 50 years, they've won 5 championship titles. They've managed to win at least one national championship. They did win a Rose Bowl. They do go to the bowls. And they're a very competitive team. It's just unfortunately that when you hear them talk about Howard University, they don't put them in the same conference. Like there's the Pac-10, there's the Final Four, and then there's a thing called the Big East, and then there's the Eastern Championship Conference tournament. So they have like 5 different tournaments that all happen at the same exact time in college football. And usually if you're a Division I school, you got to keep winning to get into the championship game. If you're a Division II school, then that's a little problematic. It's like NFL football. You have your AFC West and you have your North, NF, whatever you call it, East. So it's just like that. And the history of this school, they were founded, I believe, in the late somewhere around, I believe, around Luther Martin King Jr.'s time period, around the 60s, or should I say a little earlier than that, around his time period. It's when the school began to come in its own formation. And the history of the school, that a lot of the college football players, particularly African Americans, at that time, they were not allowed to play basketball and football and other sports at other schools. And someone came up with an idea that if you made a black school and have the athletes come here, they'll thrive. Some of your best premier professional athletes come from some of these schools. Like schools like UCLA and USC and, the ones that I named from before, they always had someone going into the NBA and the NFL draft, but so did Howard University did. And this school don't get a lot of credit for winning championships because they're in the conference, they're in the division, but they don't really get mentioned in the top 10 because, again, a lot of people like to make it seem like, well, just because this got a football team don't mean they're, that big of a deal. So you could see how problematic that is. And the reason why they haven't won a title in so long is because a lot of the people want to go to schools like Alabama and LSU. And this is one of the schools that can compete at a high competitive level. It's just a matter of giving them a chance to do so. Now let's look at Georgetown. Now that's a school that is in the top 10. That is a school that people do go to play basketball, football, baseball, track and field, swimming, if it has wrestling, you'll know about it, and that's the same school where Allen Iverson went to. Yeah, Allen Iverson went there to play college basketball. And he was this close to almost playing college football, but chose basketball over football in college. That's the school where Allen Iverson went to. That's where one of the head coaches of that basketball team reside at. George Thompson, or whatever his name is, he used to be a backup center for Bill Russell with the Boston Celtics like 50 years ago. And now he's known as a college basketball coach. Been at that program for at least 25, 30 years. He might be retired and someone else has taken over the program and that team. But he's been there for a lot of years. And this team has only won 2 conference championships. And I'm talking about the football team of Georgetown. They've only won 2 conference championships. Now, they've gone to a championship game maybe 5 times. And they just can't never seem to win the big one. And then the last 15, 16 years, they've been missing from the conversation. They've been missing from the arguments. And I believe that Georgetown just needs that push. They need that one coach that's going to come in and clean up the program and say, all right, this is what the rules are, and this is how we're going to play, and we're not going to horse around, and we're going to kick ass and take names. So university, or should I say Howard University, a.k.a. Howard Bison, they're more like a powered football team. They're all about their offense. They're all about running and gunning the football and hitting you as fast and hard as they possibly can. And Georgetown is for their defense. They can play offense, but they're known for their defense. Now let's talk about their players. See, there's a guy named Jusana Garzin, can't even pronounce his last name, who's a wide receiver for this football team. And this might be his junior or senior year. He might be already graduating. Now, if he makes it into the NFL, that's another conversation for another time. But his ability to be a wide receiver is pretty good. He can run fast. The guy's good at getting the football. And it's hard to catch him when he runs because you don't know exactly how fast he's going to run and what direction will he run to. He likes to sometimes trick people and run up the middle and trick you with a nice fast, juke. I've never really seen him play, but, I've read, some information on him as far as stats are concerned. And the reason why I say that is because, it's not 100%. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not 100% accurate, so that way don't be thinking that just because I say it in the video, it's accurate. Because people go in the comment section and say, oh, that didn't happen, or this don't happen. So, don't be thinking that it's 100% legit, okay? And then the other wide receiver from Georgetown, his name's Michael Drulis, and he seemed like the guy that might actually make it into the NFL draft. So you might want to watch out for him real soon. I mean, if he's not in the NFL draft, he probably will be entering in the 2019 draft if he didn't go to the 2018. Now, he seemed like the type of player that might either be a sophomore or a junior, if not a senior. And it seemed like he has the makings of becoming an NFL football player and the wide receiver if he's not already in the NFL. So that's why I say this may not be 100% accurate. Now, which player's better? I would say by a slight hair is Michael Drulis, even though people might say, what's the better school? I might say the better school, without a shadow of a doubt at this point, would probably be Howard Bison. Even though they've won 5 championships, it's hard to ignore the fact that one school's won 5 championships, while the other school is largely noticed, but they only won 2 conference championships. So I think we're in a case where the school that hasn't won any titles may have the best players, and a school that's not well known has actually won some championships, whether it may have been in the national championship or if it has not. So that concludes this video. I apologize that it took me a while to get to this video. It took a lot of research to figure out which school was going to finish out the series. Some of you may like these videos, some of you may hate these videos, some of you may feel like you've been cheated out of the videos, some of you may feel like maybe it should continue on, but we end the series because I don't want it to last too long and then it gets boring and then you guys hate the video. So thank you for being patient with me. I'll be on a new series. It'll be about basketball. It'll be about LeBron James and what do I personally think about him being with the Los Angeles Lakers, the good and the bad. So stay tuned for that video. Until then, peace.